All right, so it's currently 1:15, so let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to How We Are Flipping the Script. My name is Sarah Thomas, and I am a teacher from Prince George's County Public Schools in Maryland. So I came a long way, but I'm happy I came a long way because the experience so far has been phenomenal here. So you guys are amazing. If you would like to view the slides, then they are available at that website, bit.ly/flip iPDX15. And if you go on there, then you'll be able to access the presentation. So I'm just going to leave this up for a quick second over here. All right, how many of you are elementary school teachers? Wow, so that's the majority. Okay, how many are middle school? All right, so we have quite a few middle school. How many are high school? Okay, all right, fantastic. Anyone else, like beyond maybe university level or teacher educator? Okay. All right. So we have a good mix of people in here, so that is cool. It's mostly everybody. I know that we have some people who traveled to come here, but how many people from Portland do we have? Make some noise. Okay. Fantastic. All right, was everybody able to access the slides? Oh, that's 15. Same as the hashtag on Twitter. Okay. All right. So am I good to move the slide or a couple more seconds? Couple more seconds. All right, cool. All right, so do we have any English language arts teachers in there? Okay, great. What about math? Okay, great. Social studies. All right. What about science? Okay, great. What about languages? 4 languages. Okay. I know I'm missing a lot. PE? All right, I see you in the back, Mr. PE. All right, anybody else? Just yell it out if I missed it. Okay, so very cool. I guess I'm getting better at this whole calling people out or calling out areas thing. So excellent. So let's go ahead and get started. So welcome once again. If you are on Twitter, then please follow the hashtag for the conference, which is hashtag iPDX15. And if you go there, then you will see a lot of sharing that people are doing. So it's fantastic, all of the great resources that are being shared across this hashtag. All right, so let me give you an introduction. I'm going to tell you a story. And those of you who were here for my 8 o'clock presentation, then you already know the punchline, so don't ruin it. Okay. So I'm going to tell you a story. There is a young lady who comes to class, sits in the back, talks with her friends the entire time that the teacher is trying to teach. Teacher is losing his or her mind, wants to pull his or her hair out because they're trying to reach this young lady. They can't seem to get through to her. She goes home, talks on the phone with her friends, plays video games, comes to school. The cycle repeats itself over and over and over. Has anyone ever had a student like that? Heard of students like that? Okay. All right, so confession time. This student 20 years ago was me. It was Donkey Kong Country, Super Nintendo. Yeah. So now, 20 years later, then we have this even at a grander scale. When we look at our planet, we spend 3 billion hours playing video games as a planet. So that tells you how much our kids are on their devices. You see it. It's almost like they were born with phones in their hands sometimes. Can't pry the kids away from their devices in a lot of situations. Now, flipped instruction helps you meet the needs of digital natives halfway. Okay? A lot of us were taught a certain way. That way doesn't necessarily work for our students. The way that I was taught, a lot of the times the teacher would write notes on the board, we would copy them down, memorize them, take a test, forget all about it. Anybody else in here? Yeah. So with flipped instruction, then it totally flips that on its head, pardon the pun, but it does. So we're going to talk a little bit more about it. So we have 3 goals for today. The first one is to explore the concept of flipping. Second one is to address potential challenges of flipping. And the third one is to discover ways to flip using Google Apps for education and other tools. So speaking of that, I will be doing a Google session, same room, 4 o'clock today. So if you want to do that, we're going to have a lot of fun. Okay. So how flipping works. Before we do this, anybody in here ever flipped their classroom, or is anyone familiar with the term? All right, cool. So what we're going to do right now, I would like you to go back to the Today's Meet. Let me put it right back up here. All right, so go back to the Today's Meet, please, and briefly share your experiences with flipping. If you don't have any experience, that's okay. If you have ideas, you can go ahead and share those, or you can see what other people have written. But let me put 2 minutes on the clock. Would love to hear all about your flipping experiences. And you can feel free to talk it over with people at your table as well. All right, I'm seeing VoiceThread. I love VoiceThread. It's in the presentation. Spoiler alert. All right, so I see that people are using Moodle. Okay. And I also see a concern about students not doing work outside of class. Okay, so we will definitely talk about ways to ensure our students are watching, well, not ensure, but to see who's watching the flip in just a moment. All right, Aaron, if you wouldn't mind elaborating a little more, what has been problematic, if you wouldn't mind typing it in there. Okay, 1-to-1, good. Okay, RM. Okay, Aaron is saying the kids don't do the work outside of class. Okay, Becky has no experience. All right, Becky, we'll try to get you some today. Ooh, I see that Katie uses Moto and Google. And Amanda uses it when students are absent. Fantastic. KP, good point. Good point about being addicted to tech and stop listening to humans. All right, Sherry, I see your question. We will definitely address that. And Maureen, we will address that as well. All right, great. So a lot of fantastic questions are coming up. There's one that came up that I wanted to address right away. Okay. It skipped my mind, but a lot of the questions that are coming across, and we are going to be addressing those in just a moment. So now let's talk a little bit about how flipping works. So I'm going to show you this great infographic. I didn't create it. I wish I did. I cannot take credit for this one. This is courtesy of Newton. Okay, so we're not going to go over this whole infographic here, but for those of you who may have a beginning understanding of flipping, let's just go over what the concept is. So back in the day, you would have the teacher standing at the front giving a lecture. The students would copy it down. The teacher was a sage on the stage. With flipping, then the teacher moves to guide on the side. You might have heard the phrase before, engage and empower learners. Flipping helps to put the power in the learner's hands. It helps them to take control. Now, what it does, how it came to be, back in 2007, this is how the actual flipping came about. Instructors have been using videos in their classrooms for a very, very long time. But the flip movement came around in about 2007, where you had 2 Colorado teachers that discovered software for PowerPoints, and they posted their lectures online for their kids who were out, like someone was just saying on the Today's Meet. And it started spreading, and they traveled the country, and the flipping movement has continued to spread. Has anyone in here been to FlipCon? FlipCon. That's cool, because me neither, but they were at FlipCon last year. So, and they also wrote a book for ASCD. So let's take a look at some data. So there was a district that did some research on flipped instruction and the results before flipping and after flipping. And what they found is that prior to flipping, these stats were dismal. Before the flip, you see freshman English and math scores. These are fail rates. Those are not pass rates. Those are fail rates, and 736 discipline cases in one semester. After the flip, you see how these numbers have improved tremendously. You have 19% failing English, so that is 81% passing and 87% passing math, and the number of discipline cases has dropped tremendously. Anybody have an idea why you think that that might be the case? They're engaged, they're busy, work at their own pace, they're taking ownership. Exactly. Now I'm gonna tell you all, flipping has been fantastic for me because a lot of times I would have students who would come to class and they were on it. You could ask them anything. They were brilliant kids, but they were not turning in their homework. And I was just like, oh my goodness, what's going on with your grades? You don't deserve to have a C. You're brilliant. But when I would ask them what's the problem with the homework, then they would say stuff like, when I get home, my parents don't understand how to tell me this or how to explain this to me. And that tends to be a problem a lot of times, particularly for higher level math is one subject where you tend to run into that a lot. Even with English, a lot of times, the parents can't help. I don't know if anyone in here teaches a large concentration of ESOL students. Anyone in here an ESOL teacher? Okay, yeah. So in cases like that, sometimes the parents just don't understand. I teach at a French immersion school, so it's the opposite for me. My students' parents don't understand French. So to send home a lot of French homework, the parents can't help them. So that's one thing. Sometimes the students just choose not to do it, and their grades are not representative of what they can do. So by flipping, then we were able to effectively move the work into class, and then you were able to see grades that were more reflective of the students' abilities and effort. So I've really, really appreciated what flipping has done for us. Now, we have a lot of elementary people in here. And one question that I get is, how young is too young for flipped instruction? There is no too young for flipped instruction. My best friend's daughter is now 4, but ever since she was 1, she knew how to get her mom's iPhone. She knew her app that sings the ABC song. So if a 1-year-old can do that, then why couldn't a 5-year-old, someone types in the URL for them, then what's to prevent them from actually sitting in front of a video for 2 minutes and learning something? They do it anyway. They watch Barney or whatever the kids watch nowadays. So, and also if you have one-to-one situations, is anyone in here in BYOD or one-to-one? Okay, great. So for you, then flipping is an extra bonus because you can actually blend learning. And when you blend learning, that's when you take the traditional learning and include some electronics as well. So if you have a video that you want to show to your students, and if you have a video that you want to show to your students, you can actually have them watch it in class on a device and work at the same time. I'll show you all an example of that in just a moment. All right, before we move on to the next section, are there any questions so far? Questions, comments? All right. Now, I have a question for you. Let's go ahead and brainstorm some concerns about flipping and see if we can come up with some solutions. So right now, if I were to say to you, let's go ahead and flip our class tomorrow, what do you think is a concern? Kids without access to the internet at home. That is concern number 1. My students don't have access to the internet at home. I've done this presentation literally about over 30 times. And every single time that is the first question that pops up. My students don't have access to the internet at home. So the way that this session, it's been presented 32 times, but every time is different because we brainstorm ideas together. And when we come up with these ideas, then I try to implement them for the next group. So any ideas on how to navigate this?
they have a one-to-one device and there are some possibilities there, making sure they load it on that device before they take it home.
Absolutely, absolutely. Did everyone hear what he said? If they have a one-to-one device that they can take home with them, then just make sure that you download the video to that device before you take it home. So if you have a program where the students can take their devices with them, then just make sure you preload the content. So that's a good way to address that. Any other ideas? Absolutely, before and after school programs where students can watch at home. What else?
For your syllabus, you can create a list of all the places in town that have free Wi-Fi.
Absolutely, use the free Wi-Fi.
Schools extending their Wi-Fi reach outside their physical buildings.
Oh, I love that. Schools extending their Wi-Fi reach outside their physical buildings. That is a great idea.
A lot of kids watching their videos, their screencasts like in class.
Absolutely. The students watching videos at their own pace in class. So we pretty much hit on most of these solutions. The first one, a lot of my students would come to me and say, I can't watch your video because I don't have access to the internet at home. They would come in with an iPhone. And I was just like, okay, well, do you watch, who's your favorite rapper? Lil Wayne. Do you watch Lil Wayne at home? Yeah. Then you can watch Lil Miss Thomas. It's that simple. So there's that. But a lot of kids might not have phones. So in situations like that, they might have public Wi-Fi nearby, such as libraries where they can go. However, this is very hard. We can't demand this of our students because a lot of times, we don't know their situation at home. So we can't assume that every student who doesn't have access will go to a library or to McDonald's or anything like that.
A student lives across the street from McDonald's. He was complaining to me about this. I reminded him that he lives across the street from McDonald's. They have Wi-Fi.
Absolutely, yes. So if they do have that Wi-Fi, then that would be a fantastic way for them to tap into that. Some students take that initiative on their own. A couple of mine have when their computers were broken. Now, the third one, if students have TVs or DVD players, then, or even computers with no internet access, then one thing that we've done has been to burn DVDs of the content and give it to the students and let them watch it at home. So that has been very beneficial as well. Another thing, if they have internet access at your school, as y'all were saying earlier, if they have internet access at your school, then definitely opening up the doors for them to access it. And also looking at what resources your school has available, because in Michigan, there was one teacher who was talking about a program at her school where they have MyCast, I believe they're called, the hotspot from Verizon or something, and the school bought like 10 of them. They're like $40 each, and they check them out to students, so students can go home and like plug that in their computers at home. So yeah, absolutely. All right, now the second concern, which has come up already today. I don't know if my students watch the lesson. If you make a flip video and you put it on YouTube, you might have 100 students and get 75 hits. How do you know who watched what? There's a very simple solution. These three are just starting places. We tend to use Blend Space a lot in my class. And Blend Space is a free service. They also have an app, if I'm not mistaken, for the iPad. And I'm gonna show you how easy this is. I can create a lesson right now, right in front of you. So blendspace.com would be the one, and then I'll log in with the Google account. And here, let me just create a new lesson. Okay, so on BlendSpace, then you have the ability to create playlists on any topic of your choice. And they can be from content that you have created or content that you find online. So let's do a search. What's somebody working on in here? Just throw something out. You said Native Americans. What grade level? Okay. Let's see if we can find something. It's searching YouTube right now. Okay. All right. So let's say that we want this video. We can just drop it in there. Of course, we want to preview them because I've made a mistake before not previewing it. But definitely you want to preview it. But you can drag and drop as many different resources as you want in there. You can look at YouTube videos. You can find stuff from it doesn't have to just be videos. You can search Google. You can find like pictures, whatever. It takes also EduCreations, Flickr, web pages, stuff from your Dropbox, stuff from your Google Drive. So if you have your own videos that you've created, which we're going to talk about how to do in just a moment, then you can always drag them and drop them. And let's say that you want to see who has watched this video. All you have to do, add a quiz, self-grading quiz. It'll grade itself. You don't even have to put 50 million questions in there. You can put 3 questions or 2 questions. You just say, what is blah, 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 blah. And then you have your different answer choices. Well, of course, you would write it out, your distractors, and you mark which one is correct. It'll self-grade. So that when a kid logs in and they watch the videos, then they take the quiz and it'll give them back their result automatically. And that saves you a ton of time in terms of grading as well. So BlendSpace, I love BlendSpace, but there are other ones as well, such as Edpuzzle and Educanon. They all pretty much do the same thing. They each have their own like nuances, but you know, they're all great. So that's so you can see who has watched the lesson, who has understood. So great stuff there. Now, a question came up about time earlier. I was chatting with someone right before the session started, and she was telling me that flipping is great, but she doesn't think that she has time to do this. So really, there's some ways to kind of circumvent that as well. First thing would be to plan what you say. Okay, as long as you plan, then that's going to keep you from having to go back because you missed something and do it over. And that's going to also keep you from rambling on. It doesn't have to be word for word for word, but if you just have like a brief overview of what you want to do, then that'll save you a lot of time. Also, buy now, pay later. I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean by that. You might have heard that slogan before in sales. It's kind of the same thing with flipped instruction. I teach 8th grade English language arts. I have done a whole unit, like a walkthrough on argumentative writing. And argumentative writing, it's not going to change that much from this to the year after that. So I have literally taken a video I made last year, added a 15-second introduction saying, hey guys, check out this video from last year. It's going to give you some great information. And then just pasted that other video, smacked it right there. And that just, boom, it was done. So some of you teach math, so fractions, things of that nature, fractions are not going to change. So you can use these for years and years and years, and there's no need to recreate the wheel. And like you saw just now, I just with the BlendSpace, I could have done that lesson in 5 minutes. So also, if you want to create a 5-minute video with some of the tools I'm going to tell you about, then it'll take you 5 minutes to create that 5-minute video. So it's pretty cool. Now, how many people get nervous on video? Yeah. I definitely do. So a couple things that can help us out with that are, first of all, knowing that you can edit your videos. That can definitely give you some peace of mind. You can cut out all the ums, ers, hiccups, all kinds of crazy stuff. You can cut that out while you're editing it. So that's always a great fallback. But also, you don't necessarily have to appear on video. It doesn't have to be a video of your face. You can do a flip lesson using tools such as Show Me, where you just use like your device and it looks like an interactive whiteboard. So you don't necessarily have to put your face on camera. Okay? All right, so before we move on to how to flip, let me ask you all this, because in the room, there are experts here, I know it. There's people in here who have flipped their classroom. So let me ask you all, what are your experiences in terms of flipping your classroom? Would anyone like to share? Go ahead.
I've enjoyed it quite a bit. It's really freed up my class time to have interaction with every one of my kids every single day now, which never happened when we were standing in front of them talking.
Absolutely.
It did change the way I had to make my presentations. I was using Screencast-O-Matic, which is like just whatever you have on your screen or your voice over it.
Right.
I really had to change my presentation techniques if you really want kids to listen to you, get stuff out of it. But it's cool.
Absolutely. And that's a great point about how it frees up your time. You can bring back small groups to work with you because a lot of the kids already know what to do. if they watch you flip before coming to class, and if they didn't, then they can watch it in class, and that'll kind of help get them through. So that helps you meet with one-on-one students or small groups. So that really is a time saver. Okay, great. Anyone else?
When I was teaching my mentor teacher a smartboard, and they would record the first lesson of the day on the smartboard, the sound and everything. Was that
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you can. There's some apps out there that kind of mimic that. So we're going to talk about those in just a second. So fantastic, fantastic. Okay, great. So there are two main ways to flip. First way is to use other people's resources. You can find these resources everywhere. There's no need to recreate the wheel. For those of you who teach more quantitative topics such as math, science, then these resources are all over the place. Like Khan Academy, they have things everywhere. It's crazy how many different things that they have. But for those of you who teach more qualitative topics, then you might have to go more towards way number 2, create your own at some points. Some videos are out there, but not as plentiful as those of us, or as those of you who teach the quantitative subjects. So YouTube, don't really have to give much explanation about that. It's pretty much the great granddaddy of these video sharing sites. So you can find videos. There's millions and millions and millions of different things on there. Again, just proceed with caution. Make sure that you screen them first. Any pinners in the room? All right, Pinterest, fantastic. Now, a lot of people use Pinterest for educational purposes. Now, is Oregon a Common Core state?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so if you look up the standard, a lot of times it'll come back with resources. Like, for example, if you put in 8.L.2 video, then you might be able to find some videos really quickly for that particular standard. So that is one pro tip for Pinterest users. A lot of times YouTube might be blocked in some schools. So SchoolTube and TeacherTube, those are both great resources that you can check out. They have a lot of instructional material on them. Khan Academy is another great one that has a lot of math and science things. And TED Ed, is anyone familiar with TED? TED Talks, yeah. So they have their own version for students as well. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I'm going to show you an example of TED. I'm not going to click on all of these resources because because some of you can probably talk more to them than I can. But let me show you really quickly about TED Ed. You can create a lesson just like that. Almost as simple, well, even more simple than the blend space ones actually, because they already have the lessons created for you a lot of the times. So if you go over here to lessons and you find your topic area, I do literature and language, and then you can look by category. So writing and composition, for example. Let's say that I want to do this Oxford comma debate. I'm always getting in nerdy English arguments with people over this. So here they have this lesson already pre-made for you about the Oxford comma. And they have a lesson that they already have the video. Then they have questions, multiple choice questions already pre-made for you. They have open-ended questions where your students can kind of discuss a prompt. And in addition, they have guided questions where they can speak more freely. So it is so cool, all of the things that they have on there. So I love TED Ed. They have some really, really cool things. Does anybody use any of these other resources or another one that you use to access pre-made lessons or pre-made videos?
Learn Zillion for lessons.
Yes. Learn Zillion is fantastic. So if you check that out, a lot of their stuff is aligned with the Common Core as well, right? Yeah, absolutely. So Learn Zillion is great. Anyone else?
Office Mix.
Office Mix, what's that?
It's made for flip learning. It's like that's what it's made for, and combination with PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm.
So they have tons of stuff in the gallery, and then people can make their own.
Absolutely. That is fantastic. I haven't heard of that one, but I'm going to definitely check it out.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Nice. Thank you. All right. Any other pre-made resources? Blend Space. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Blend Space is awesome. Great. All right, so the second way, would be to create your own. So let me tell you a little bit about my journey to flipped instruction. So I've been using videos for years with my kids, but I hadn't really been doing flipped instruction until I went to a conference, very similar to this one where people were throwing out new ideas. This was about 2 years ago. And hey, this is great. I love this. You know, I was a TV major in college. This is right up my alley. So what I did, I decided to get creative when I got home, and I wanted a video where I had my face and what I was typing on the screen in it. I wanted that both to be there together, but I wanted it for free. So it's kind of hard to get that for free, I'll be quite honest. So what I did, I set up this crazy system where I had 2 computers similar to this. One of them had QuickTime running, and it would record whatever I was typing on the screen. The other one had my face, and then I would like edit it together, and that took forever. But it was just a mess. But since then, I found some other tools that have worked better, better methods for that. So I'll show you an example of a flip, because a lot of times it's good to actually see an example of that. So let me go to my play. After year. Okay, so let me actually fast forward a little bit, because the beginning is just, you know, welcoming the kids and everything like that. But in this particular video, then it kind of creating an argument for argumentative writing. So I was able to kind of get my screen with Microsoft Word in the background and my face, and I did this through an app called, or not an app, I'm sorry, through software called Camtasia. So I'm going to talk more about that in a second, but here is a random part. Okay, well, the sound's not coming through, but you can imagine, I'm sure. I'm talking my kids through writing this essay, and they're able to watch it in class and kind of follow along. So I took them step by step through the process, and they're able to pause it and rewind it whenever they need to. So that worked out really, really well. Okay. And if you have this handout, if you have these slides from the very first page, then you're able to click on the hyperlink at the top under Create Your Own, and that'll take you to my playlist. So there's a couple of, there's a few apps on here that I have listed. These are mostly apps like that you would use on devices as opposed to software that we'll look at in a second. But there's quite a few on here. Does anyone in the room have experience using any of these? Okay, great. So Explain Everything. Who uses Explain Everything? Okay, all right, how do you use it? And I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
It's, you got a smartboard, it's this great app. You can Apple TV into the screen, and that's your iPad or right?
Absolutely. It's like a smartboard app that you can record.
I have actually I teach fifth grade, and I work with the Word level readers, so I have those kids make a little video with some diagrams like SH sounds. They made a really short video to explain everything for first grade kids.
So they created it for other kids.
Yes.
That is cool. I love that. Yeah, when kids can create for each other, then that helps them learn even better. Yes, that is a good point.
Great way to collect assessment data and math, so they can explain their thinking and show you what they actually using the laser tool.
Absolutely. Yes, they can definitely do so many things with Explain Everything. And Show Me is a very it's very similar. It doesn't have all of the features. Show Me is free. Explain Everything is like $3 or something like that. It's worth it in my opinion, but I like free things, so so I definitely want to put some free stuff up there. But yeah, Show Me is also amazing. Very similar whiteboard app in concept. And all of these links, you can click on them, and I encourage you to click on them right now, just so that you can kind of play with them, maybe download some apps, try them out as I'm speaking, and definitely see if something might stick for you that you might like to use in your classroom. Okay.
Another one I found for the Chromebooks that works really well is Snagit.
Snagit, yes. Absolutely. Snagit is made by TechSmith. And TechSmith makes so many different apps that are great for flipping. Camtasia, Jing, oh gosh, they have so many different flipping apps that are just fantastic. Okay. Has anybody in here used anything else on this list? Okay, what have you used?
Telegami.
Telegami. Can y'all tell us a little bit about Telegami?
You have a little avatar, and so if you don't like to be on camera, you can make this little avatar talk for you. And I use it with a couple other things in conjunction to make a video. I liked it because I don't want to look at my face.
That's a lot of us. So yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love Telegami, and I'm so glad that you brought that up. I'll give you an example of a Telegami. So in my class, we do gamification as well. So we had a draft at the beginning because I gave it a basketball theme. I'm the basketball coach, so the kids come to my class, and but we had kind of a draft day where they got to pick their different teams. So let me see. So, oh gosh, okay. So we had a little avatar. We called her Nacho, and the reason that we called her Nacho, it might be a little inappropriate, but on Kahoot, does anybody play Kahoot? Yeah, so on Kahoot, I would often play with the kids, and I would put the username Your Mama. So Nacho was Nacho Mama. So, all right, but there is. Let me see. But yeah, if I'll look for the video, and let me see the Telegami. So in this for the draft day, she was kind of our news anchor, and she kind of led the activities for the day. And introduce the different segments. Here we go. Okay. So the kids, they would like give a speech, and you can kind of see what's going on. You can import different backgrounds and things like that. You can make the character look, however you want it to, and then it'll read the lines in your voice. So it's really, really cool. So I love Telegami. So good one on that.
One of the things that's nice about Telegami too is like we during health and especially in the spring in 5th and 6th grade, it's a little smelly in the room. So like last year we did lots of almost like PSAs about wearing deodorant and things like that, and the kids didn't have to show their face at all, but yet they were still creating things, and so it's just not a lot of pressure on their skin.
Absolutely. And that also helps to protect their privacy. Yeah, so that is fantastic. Has anybody here used TouchCast before? TouchCast is great because if you want to get really fancy with it and high tech, then you can use TouchCast, and what it does, it's like you can use it with a green screen. It's a free app. You can use it with a green screen, and it'll make these professional looking videos that are just amazing. And I love letting the kids figure out and then having them teach me because that's just on point. They're great with that stuff. Okay. Any other apps like devicey apps that I might have missed that you use that you enjoy? Okay, great. So let's move now to more software based. I see that there are quite a few MacBooks in here. There are some Dells as well, some Chromebooks. So there are some apps on here that you can use on your laptops and your computers and things of that nature. My favorite on here, I have to say, it's not a free one, but it's worth the money for me just because I flip so much. I like to use Camtasia, and the example that I showed you, it kind of knocked out that whole having to set up 2 different cameras, and it does it all in one. So if I want to make a 5-minute video now, it's not going to take me 2 hours to make it and edit it. It'll take me that 5 minutes. And if I want to make it a little more special, it could take a little longer, to tweak it with all the bells and whistles and things of that nature. But really, it's very, very simple to use. So for the Mac people, y'all are in luck because you saved 100 over the PC people. Sorry, PC people. But the Mac people, it's 79 for Mac, I think, and 179 for PC. So if you can get your school to pay for it, awesome. Or maybe get together with a team of teachers who flips. Excellent. But there's also other great things on this list, such as Jing, that also comes from TechSmith. You were just talking about Snagit.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit more about Snagit?
It's nice. It works on the Chromebook. You because the Chromebook doesn't support Java, and a lot of those have to have Java running for them to work.
Absolutely.
Just to tell them webcam, put your picture in there, and just kind of goes through your slides. Kids can use it too. They can make
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, Snagit is great. Just all of these tools are fantastic. I saw that someone was talking about VoiceThread earlier today. Who was that? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but okay, VoiceThread. So how do you use VoiceThread?
I use it very simply. I linked it to one of my PowerPoints that I had, and I record myself in the corner of the screen talking about it, and gave it as a file on top of Thanksgiving.
That works. That works. And one thing that I also love about VoiceThread is the fact that the kids can comment on it too as well with their voices. So let me see. So VoiceThread. Yeah, if you go to voicethread.com, and I'll definitely update that. But if you go to voicethread.com, then you'll see there is an example here, a very, very old example, just to show you what it can look like. Let me see. Cyberbullying. So this is one of the ones that we did. And what it was, I uploaded a PowerPoint, as you were saying, uploaded a PowerPoint, I recorded a vocal prompt, and the students were able to go in and leave their responses. So you can upload PowerPoints, you can upload pictures, you can upload videos. It's just a really versatile tool. So, and it's also free. So I love free things. It's my favorite word. All right. Anybody else see anything on this list that they've worked with or had experience with?
I really like screencast on that. It's really easy and quick and flows pretty well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Screencast-O-Matic will just kind of take a shot of your screen and you can talk through it. So that is also another great option. And QuickTime, a lot of you, I see a lot of Macs. So QuickTime Player, you can record your screen and any sounds. So if you want to talk, then you can easily do that. Okay. Are there any other favorite computer-based apps that you have? Okay.
One thing we've been doing with the Mac, is that we can mirror our iPads onto our Macs.
Mhm.
So if we're doing a tutorial or doing something to show how to do something on the iPad, we can mirror onto and then use QuickTime to do the recording.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So you can definitely mirror using your Apple devices and then record with QuickTime. So that is fantastic. Okay. Now you're probably thinking, once you have these great videos made, then what can you do with them? Where can you put them? How do you get them to students? So this slide right here talks a little bit about how to do it. And like I told y'all before, I'm in love with Google. So this is very Google heavy, but Google is not the be all end all when it comes to ways that you can get your videos out there. There's lots of different ways to get your videos out there. Google Drive has been fantastic because you can set your privacy levels. And if your students are making videos for each other, and if you don't necessarily want them all over the internet, then you can set the privacy so it's on private and you can share it only to specific people. They can't even take that link and share it to their friends if you put it on private. It will only go to that email address that you specify. So that's pretty cool. And also Google Sites. This link, when you click on it, the second link, then it's going to take you to a site that says that you don't have permission, and that is for a reason. Just wanted to demonstrate the fact that Google Sites and all things Google, you can set your privacy settings so tight that only whoever has permission can see it. I can see this, but you won't be able to. Okay, this is where we do our morning announcements in the morning, and the students record the videos, and we post them on this Google site, and all the teachers can log in and see it. And we have it once again locked down to private. So so that way, the kids, I know they get excited, they want to share the videos with their friends, but sorry, kids, But
Let me ask a question. So what is this in Google? It's not in Drive, right?
oh no, this is Google Sites right here.
Google Sites.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you can have as many pages as you want. So we have our weekly pages. We're a little bit behind in terms of recording, but we also have our archives that, that they can go back and watch. And it's all in one place as opposed to having to send it out every single day if you were to use something like Google Drive. Okay. All right. Does anyone in here use Google Hangouts? Yes. Okay. I see some hands going up. All right. So let me ask y'all. Do y'all use Google Hangouts on air? Yeah. No. Okay. You're shaking your head. Yes.
On Monday for Read Across America, all of our classrooms matched up with our reader, like an author or someone who knew it, and we're doing something else.
Nice. Very cool.
Read Across America, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah. Quite a few teachers are. Quite a few schools are doing that. Where's your school located? Southern Oregon. It doesn't happen to be Doug Robertson. Yeah. Oh wow, small world. Okay, wild guess. But yeah. So I'll actually be one of the readers. So that's awesome. Very small world. But yeah. So you can use Google Hangouts for lots of different features. But pretty much what it is, it's like a video call. But when you add the on-air part to it, then it'll automatically save to your YouTube. That is beautiful because you can. That's how I create all my flips. I just go on. I go on Google Hangouts. I share it only with myself with a different email address, and then this video is automatically set to unlisted if you share it just with like one person. And then once I record it, then I put it on private so that my students can watch it as well. But I don't know if you guys have like Snowmageddon like we do back on the East Coast. No, so they don't really close school a lot over here, right? No. Okay. Yeah. Our school is actually closed today, which is complete irony because you would expect it to be a lot colder here, but over there it's like snowing like crazy. So we've already missed, oh gosh, maybe 3 days of school this year, which doesn't sound like a lot, but we've probably had 10 days of delay because of the snow and temperature. And right now my kids have a Black History Month project that's due in about Monday. It's due Monday. So last year when this happened, the kids all freaked out. They were like, Miss Thomas, we don't have your class because, they miss a period a day when the snow comes, when we have a delay. We don't know what to do. So I set up a Google Hangout on air, a virtual office hours, and they watched it. The kids who weren't able to be there, they watched the archive on YouTube, and it just worked fantastically. So if you ever do find yourself in a situation where you can't meet with your kids, or if they need extra help even, then that might be a good way to do it. Yeah.
So, teaching 5th grade, we were going to try to put together a hangout groups, and we were told that since they're not 12, that we can't.
Okay.
Is that it was because it was a Google thing? Does anyone else run into that and that knows a workaround?
Was it that they can't appear on camera or they can't watch it at all?
Just that they're not supposed to have a
Yeah.
Google Plus account. You have to have a Google Plus account, in which case you need it to be 13 or over. And so for elementary, we're having a hard time finding ways for the kids to kind of have that collaboration piece because of the age restriction.
So are the kids trying to do the hangout themselves? Like you're trying to have them hang out with the kids?
Even if it's monitored by the school, just because it's a Google account that says you have to be 13, we can't promote or offer that through the district. Their personal email accounts, if they have them, they do it, but we can't really foster that.
Did your school or your district, have they looked at the Google Apps for Education?
We have Google Apps.
You do? Oh, you do.
But the parents signed the form for that, but because they're not 13, they can't be in Google.
Okay, I see.
Which means they can't create a hangout because they have to be plus.
Right. That's true. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, for that I don't have a workaround. Does anyone in here have a workaround?
We use Edmodo.
Edmodo?
Talk to each other and work together in groups.
Edmodo lets you do that?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. And Edmodo is up here too. That's a way to get your videos out. If you want to put them out and not necessarily have them for the whole world to see, you can put them on some place like Edmodo or Google Classrooms. So that is fantastic. Okay. Any questions or ideas or anything that strikes you? Did anybody get a chance to play with any of these tools? And what has been your reaction? Like, what's been your favorite one so far from the list?
Google Classroom is pretty cool. Just all the certain ends and tracking to certain ones.
Yes, absolutely. So you can, in Google Classroom, then you can also put out videos like just like very similarly to Edmodo. You can just like attach it from your drive and just share it out with all of your students. So Yes.
Are you using a bunch of these, like Classroom and Edmodo sort of together, or you started to say, look, I don't like this particular tool other than others? Is there one that you gravitating towards?
Me personally, what I go with most of the time is Blend Space, and I create my videos in Google Hangouts, and I put them out through Blend Space. That's usually how I do. But I mean, just whatever works best. You know, there's going to be different preferences based on whatever the needs of your class are. Yeah.
And using Blend Space, how do you get your kids linked up to that? Is it just a link to your personal classroom, or do they have to
Yeah, for Blend Space, then if you're already using Edmodo, then it's an Edmodo app. But if not, then they also have a standalone website, blendspace.com, and there they can either log in with their Google Apps for Education accounts, or I believe there's also a class code option that you can give them, and they can just kind of sign up that way, and then they'll just log in every time. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Okay. All right. Any other questions or?
Ask you a question. Do you guys use an LMS or use just a Gap?
We do. We use several different things in our county. We are Google Apps for Education, but we also do use Edmodo. Yeah. So we do use Edmodo. I don't use it that much for sharing. We're more so doing Google Drive for that. But for the apps that come along in the Edmodo suite, then that's pretty much how I use it. But a lot of people use it for an all-in-one with sharing content and things like that. Okay. Great. All right. So let's see here. The time is now 2:06. So we have a few minutes left. I just want to leave you with some best practices. So 4 best practices to get you on your way. The very first one is to plan. As we said before, planning will save you time. Trust me. In the beginning, when I didn't plan, I had to go back. Nightmare. So plan it out. Also, just produce. Be like Nike and just do it. I know that at the beginning, when we were going through our different comments on today's meet, then some people were saying that they were a little bit apprehensive about it. But really, this is a very low risk situation. All you're investing is the time that you make to spend to make the video. And if it doesn't work, then you can always tweak it and try again. And you know, the more you tweak, the more you refine. I'm still refining, so the more you tweak, the more you refine. Then that's how you're going to find, you know, different things that work best for your class. So anyone who's hesitant, I would say just do it, just try it. Tomorrow there's going to be the Room to Grow session, so I'll be in there. If you want to come in there and do one with some help from me, then by all means, I'll be there. Also, if you want to, you can edit your video to make it kind of seamless. And last but not least, KISS. KISS stands for Keep It Simple, Silly. And what I mean by that is that it might be tempting to cram a lot of information into these videos, but that is going to reduce the chances that the students are going to watch it. If you have like a 30-minute video, I can tell you right now from experience, your students are not going to watch that. So what you might want to do is to chunk it. If you have like a huge topic, then maybe make a 2-minute video about this, make a 2-minute video about that, 5 minutes on this, 3 minutes on that. And then that way the students, it'll be easier for the students to watch in different bite-sized pieces. And you can have like a whole playlist if you want to on YouTube that if they so choose, it can go straight down the line. But you definitely should keep your videos short if you want your students to watch it. And also, don't be afraid to inject some of your personality in there. If you have that good rapport with your students and you crack jokes, then definitely include those in the video as well. And your students will appreciate it. Okay, so any questions?
I don't know if this is a quick question. Okay, so structure. So let's say, how does a typical day for you?
Mm-hmm.
So you, at the end of the day, say, okay, this is what I want you to watch tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day you raise your hand, did you get a chance to watch it or what? And then what happens?
Yeah, if I were to assign a video, then typically what I do, I usually do it on an as-needed basis. I don't flip every day. A lot of teachers, well, not a lot, but I know some teachers who do flip every day. And they have reason to, they say, because they teach a different concept every day. But for me, we do it as needed. Perhaps if we are facing a tough topic. And so I'll tell the kids, okay, I have this flip for you. Just watch it, and then when you come to class, be ready tomorrow to get to work on X, Y, and Z. So if they choose to watch it, which hopefully they do, then they'll come to class with a greater understanding. If they choose not to, then I'll let them in class, put on their headphones and watch it. But while they are working, then what I generally do is pull a kid to the side and say, hey, how's it going? Are you having any difficulties? Let's look at your work together. Just, things of that nature. Just circulate around the room and see how everybody's doing. So like the gentleman was saying over here, then it really helps you kind of have more one-on-one time with your students. Does that answer your question?
I think so. You did mention it would be 2 to 5 minutes or something like that.
Right.
So you're not giving up a whole lot of time if you were just to show that at the beginning of class and then.
Right. Yeah, you can do whatever works best for your classroom. Absolutely. I saw another hand.
I'm still a little confused on, I guess, what a flipped classroom looks like, because that sounded like it was more of a homework assignment. So, but originally I was kind of envisioning that they were coming in, and instead of you standing in front of the class, they might look at some sort of video and then go from there,
Right.
which allows you to kind of be walking around with a little bit of both, or what?
Yeah, typically there's a distinction between flipped and blended. Flipped is more so where they watch the video at home and come to class ready to work. Blended is more so that they would watch the video in class. It's really semantics because it's the same concept, but my class tends to be a little bit of both because not everybody watches the video, and I tell them that the video you should watch at home, but I'm not going to make you watch it at home. If you already know what to do, then hey. But yeah, so flipped, ideally in a 100% flip model, they would have all watched the video, walked into class, and gotten right to work.
What do you mean getting right to work? Like the assignment was on the video?
You could put the assignment on a video, or you could tell them, when they come to class, you could go through the assignment in class. But the idea would be that they would have more hands-on time to do it, right? As opposed to lecturing them on the basics, before the assignment. Yeah. Okay. All right, great. Any other questions? Yes.
So then with your class, just the kids that do watch the video and then come ready to work, they just keep going on a quicker pace than the kids who haven't watched the video. You're having to instruct them personally.
Right, exactly. They would, the students who were comfortable already doing the work, then they would go ahead and get right to work at their pace. And if they do happen to finish early, then perhaps help people at their table. Okay, great. Well, there's some more resources here on the links. So if you want to take a look at them, then please, by all means, they're there. And I would love to connect with you all online. So here is my information here. And, I'd love to talk flipped instruction, gamification, anything that y'all are interested in. I love it all. So this is all my info here. So thank y'all so much for coming. And thank you very much. All right, enjoy the rest of your conference.